On me now. Ghost Templar 117. Yes, sir. It's and the Templar come from the values that, or some of the values that I saw in the Knights Templar from the Crusades, and I kind of hold some of their values and some of their I want to say mythos, but they're not really mythos. Just Templar. There's multiple types of Templar. There's like the Templars that used to be with the church, or the Templars that were with the church during the Crusades, and now this day and age they have separated from the church, so the Templar no longer are with the church. The Templar are their own thing. There's a bad section of Templar because you got like the white Knight Templars and shit like that, racist people. I mean, that's just people doing them. I am not gonna judge for anything unless they do something fucking stupid. Then I'll set shit straight. But anyway, to carry on, you got Templar like me, which is I hold. Like, when I raced you in the random lobby, we just first met, and I said, you didn't give up, you just do except just tinker with my cars. And so if I see somebody that I know that's trying and not giving up, and they're trying to, they keep pushing themselves to go further and further, I'm like, okay, I'll help this do that. And I got, what was it? On another game, let's see, I've met hundreds of fucking people, and I helped them. I got them into the clan that I was in. I was letting the admins and shit in the clan, and the admins wound up appointing me the leader of that particular clan. Which I was like, no, I'm good. But they told me, no, you can be the leader because this is just how you play and all. We want you to be the leader. Okay, that's it. And that's the way I am. The way I am, and if you really get into like my name and all. You'll know that when I reach the end of where I'm at, I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna reach back and help the next person up mine. If they reach where I'm my level, then I'm satisfied. But if they reach me and surpass me, then I know I've done my job right as a leader. And I've got about 10 people that I've helped in NFS Heat that will whoop my ass in any fucking day of the week now. And I'm not ashamed one fucking bit to get whooped by him, because I know hey, this guy right here used to be a damn 200 car. When I met him, this motherfucker out here beating the damn pro street racers now. He's out here beating elite bills and shit. He beat people that know how to race. He's beating their ass. I'm like, yeah, I helped him, I guided him, I coached him. I taught him a little secret here and there, and I let him. Yeah, I give people parts of the build, or I give them the complete build, and I say, this is what they'll use. Go from there. Like, take this and use this, and then build off that. If it works for you as the original build, then it works. But if you tinker with this and little that, like you added the one, like you changed out a tire that I use like race tires. I got one guy that uses track tires, and his cars with track tires will whoop my cars with race tires, but I'll take him into the curves, and vice versa. When I got cars that'll beat him on the straights, but then his cars will take me in the curves. Yeah. Like people that are like down on the luck or shit like that, then that's when I'm gonna step in. I have a perfect video on my TikTok and shit that shows what I'll do in that given situation. I mean, it's all good. Yeah. I mean, I understand that, to be honest with you, the world itself, as we know it now, is fucked unless something changes. You know, I know that for a fact. But that's still not going to stop me from being the person that's going to reach out and help the next person in line get better, help them get to a better emotional state or something like that. I've helped out 3 or 4 people on TikTok, and now the two of them are my little brothers, and one of them is my bigger sister. Well, there's only one time in U.S. history, no, there's only one time in complete world history, that there's one day of true world peace. That was during a Christmas, one day during the Christmas year, that the Germans, World War II, where we were fighting from the trenches, like I think it's either early on in the war, or like late in the war, maybe in World War One. I want to say it was World War Two. I want to say it's World War Two. But one Christmas day during the Christmas holidays, both sides, like they held up signs to show if you don't shoot, we no fire. You don't fire, we no fire. And that one day, the entire world knew peace. Literally the entire world knew peace. Enemy soldiers that were literally shooting at each other the day before were playing football. And I ain't talking about like football as in America, I'm talking about football with soccer ball. They all played with footballs, and there wasn't enough footballs. They used the sea ration cans to play with. Germans and Britons and Russians, I mean, they had a day of peace. When it won't. Freedom of speech has come to a point where it's freedom of power. Money still talks, and nothing gets better. It's money. Well, when I read it in the Bible, the Bible, my mama's Holy Bible, the family Bible, when I read it, it's still true to this day. Money is the root of all evil. It's also true that money can make you happy, but it can make you lonely. It can buy happiness, but only for so long. Oh yeah, that's why I said money is the root of all evil. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to have a couple $1 million. Hell, give me $1 million, I'd be happy for the rest of my fucking life. I'll throw it in the bank and live off interest. That's 10 grand alone. Why not? Shit, dude, if I had $1 million if the government were to walk up to my house and say, we're going to give you $1 million tax free, I said, okay, I'm going to put it right here in this bank. You see me put it here, and all I want is just the interest off of it. I won't never touch. Oh, for real? They actually done that shit in real life? What the fuck y'all got going on? Y'all say, oh, this is free and shit. Nah, motherfucker, y'all paying for something in the future. I don't know what the fuck it is. 9 to 2015? Or technically 2016, but I got out in 2015. I appreciate it. Thank you. I ain't no damn sir. I was a specialist. I was a specialist. I went, no sir, I work for a living. Let me tell you a quick story, dude. You know how people get in trouble for being in the wrong place, or people get in trouble for being bad, right? I got in trouble for having too much initiative. I'm the type of person that if a foreman comes up and tells me this is the job list and he hands me a job, I'm gonna take that job, I'm gonna look at it, and I'm gonna go get what I need and go to work. I ain't gonna say shit. I'm just like, okay, this is what I gotta do. Okay, this is what I need. Okay, I'll go grab what I need and I get straight to fucking work. I was training in Fort Lee, Virginia with a crew, and the fucking instructor pulled me out of the tank I was working on and told me to go over to a table and sit down. I thought I was in trouble with some shit, like I'd done something wrong, or I on write-up or something. I didn't know. I was shaking. And so I said, well, like, what did I do? Am I doing something wrong? He said, no, we just had to sit you over here because if you keep going, we can't teach nobody because you're taking everybody's job. Because I do my job and I go to the next person to help them get their done, and I go to the next person to help them get theirs done, and I just kept moving on until everybody got done. And then we left the shop. And he's like, dude, we're going to have to sit you down. You can't even teach nobody because, hell, we can't even get into the teaching because you're working on everything. I was like, is that... Yeah, that's what I told him. I was like, that's just like my time. He said, yeah, you got to sit here for the days. Let me teach them for at least one day of the 6-month period. Just let me have one day. I said, okay. I don't mean to be bad. I don't mean to do anything bad. He's like, no, it ain't bad. It's really fucking excellent to have, but it's just that we can't teach if you do everything before we can teach it. That's it. After I understood what I was in trouble, what I thought I was in trouble for, I walked out there with a fucking grin on my face. I was like, damn. I've never been in trouble for doing something right in my life, and that was the first time, and it sunk in with the big, fucking greatest feeling of satisfaction ever. I got a company coin for it. From my damn company, my company commander. I got a company coin for it. And it was I think it was like either the 5th or 6th highest coin you can get. There's items. Well, it's made out of, like, I don't know what type of metal it's made out of, but it's a company coin is something that soldiers from all branches can challenge each other if they're at a bar. And basically, it's a soldier challenge that if you walk up next to like a marine or something, and you just sit, what you do, you sit that coin, your highest level coin, on the table with the highest rank face up, and then the soldier that's sitting there, or the officer, whatever, if they feel like they want to set the challenge, they take their highest coin and sit it down beside it. If your highest rank coin beats their highest rank on their coin, they have to buy you a drink. If you lose to their coin, you have to buy them a drink. It's a hit. It's like a challenge of respect. Like, what's your respect level? Like, you know. That's basically what it is. It's a soldier's way of showing. It's like a secret way of respect. Because I still got my company coin from when I left the armory in Albany, Georgia, and I got shipped out to basic training. Well, I earned a total, I think it's either 5 or 6 coins throughout my career. The highest coin I got was from the TACCOM Command Sergeant Major of the Army. Dead motherfucking had me shaking in my boots that day. Here's the thing. We were all in Fort Stewart doing maintenance on trucks and all that were in the shop there, so we could help get their shop open up a little bit. And it's like I said, it's something that's, you have to, what you do for your living, it has to be in your blood if you're going to keep doing it. You have to have like a level of satisfaction when you do it, and you have to have like a level of knowledge. And you're born with this. Like my dad was, he's still a mechanic. He's gonna turn a wrench into the day he dies. I already know that. There ain't nothing gonna stop that old pucker. He's 72 or 73 now, and he'll still get up and turn a wrench and show you what the best of them. But that day it was close to the end of our cycle. We were finna ship back out to Fort Benning. Well, we were just all working in the shop and all. We just got back from lunch and all that, and they called us up front in formation. I was like, oh shit, what the fuck going on? Well, my jacket was on the table. When they called formation, we all just grab our shit and go. Well, I left my jacket at the side by mistake because it was kind of hot that day, and I didn't feel like getting, I didn't feel like sweating my balls off working on the trucks. Well, we heard the chopper coming in. It landed, and all of a sudden we see the TACCOM Command Sergeant Major and his escort just walking up to us and all. And he points at one guy, and then he points at another guy, then he points at me. He don't say a word, he just points at, he does that come here finger. And I'm like, oh fuck, what did I do? And all three of us standing up in front of formation, they'd be like, oh fuck, what did we do? And he hands us each a company coin. He's like, these three, y'all need to expire to be. These three right here have worked their asses off since they've been here. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, okay. I'm trying not to smile for being giddy, from being, recognized for doing shit, but I was like, I'm just doing my job. I'm doing what I was trained to do. That's what's running through my mind. I'm like, I don't deserve this. I'm like, I'm not worthy of this damn coin. But he's like, no, I've walked through here many a time, and I've heard from the first sergeant of this office or the shop say that you, along with the other two, y'all work on y'all's jobs. I was working on the turret. We were trying to put a turret on the truck I was working on, but we had to keep waiting on parts. When the parts come in, me and the first sergeant that was there would say, we go ahead and start putting it all together, and then we had to wait for more parts come in. Well, every time we had to hit that hold up, I start walking around the shop, asking people, hey, you got this, you got this. If the shop was good, I'd walk outside and start helping with the motor pool, the outside motor pool, the deck and all. So getting the trucks in line that were good and bring the trucks in that needed to be a little worked on and shit. Hell, I had this one group that was working on the trucks said that either the dash wouldn't work or some shit. I said, you got a short somewhere. If it's not getting power to this, that means you got a short somewhere in the line that's drawing the power from it. Because if it's a complete circuit, you won't get fire. You get fire all the way through it from the start to the end. If you just test your wires until you find the wire that shows it's dead. Yeah, well, I think my friend that was working with him said it happened to be a wire behind the ignition that had been cut. Somebody reached up there and cut it to keep the damn truck from going, so they can stay at base all weekend, or so they can go off post on the weekend. There's all kinds of fucking things people have done to tanks, to fucking Bradleys, to Paladins, to semis, to anything that has wheels. A trooper, a soldier has done something to it to make it not work, so they'll have a free weekend to go do something. Weekend. Yeah, because Friday you can get a weekend pass unless you have to work that weekend. You can get a weekend pass to go off post and do shit. But see what the route. It's an easiest routine. It was the easiest fucking routine I've ever done in my life. I mean, seriously, you were up at 6. If you had to do PT, you can get up at 6. If you didn't want to do PT, you can get up at 7, be at the shop by 8. The first break was at 10:30. Lunch was at 12. You got back at 1. Next break was at 2. I want to say it was at 2, and then you left the shop at 3. Shop closed its doors at 3 o'clock. And you were done for the rest of the day. You had from 3 until 7 o'clock the next morning. It was like going to school, except without all the bullshit. Oh God, dude, I found folks sleeping. I have found somebody sleeping on a creeper up under a fucking semi in the oil pit. I'm serious, dude. Me and some of the other E4s, where the sergeants were sent out to inspect shit, we find people sleep that's like curled up in the back of a Humvee, in the fucking tool bed of a Humvee, just like a little narrow passage between the toolboxes and all. We have found people sleeping there. We have found people sleep on the desks, under fucking chairs. We found folks sleeping on top of a tank. We found somebody sleeping in the bucket of an excavator before, man. Yeah. Well, folks like to go out and party a lot. When they get off at 3, they don't know when they get off at 3, they go change into their civil uniform, then they go have a little fun, be back at a reasonable hour, and get enough sleep for the next day. No, I would say about 9, but roughly there's like a 10% of soldiers that like to party a little too long and stay out a little too late because they're still teenagers and shit, which is understandable. Every goddamn teenager in the goddamn world is going to do it. No matter who you are, they're going to do it. But they'd come in. We had fucking we've had soldiers pass out in formation from being drunk. I've seen, when I was at Fort Lee, for prime example, Fort Lee, I have seen 4 soldiers fall out behind me. Literally, I ain't talking about fall out as in like break rank and then leave. They fell out as in like passed out on the ground drunk. They were that drunk. They couldn't stand up. They when 4 inventory were called, they ran up because when you get a weekend pass, when you're released, you're in your PT uniform, which is your physical training uniform. And when you come back that Sunday, you go back into your PT uniform. That's your end of day and start of day uniform, because you do PT in the mornings when you're training. Well, no, when you come back, from final formation to first formation, you're allowed to wear whatever you want. But from first formation to final formation, you're in your uniform, or you're in your ASUs, or you're in your PT uniform. One of those 3. E4 is a specialist or a corporal. The difference between the ranks, because there's like 2 or 3 different ones that'll change. The specialist E4 is a non-wartime rank, where the corporal E4 is a wartime rank. or a deployment rank. The corporal has more power and is considered more like a sergeant. God damn it, motherfucker, get off me, you damn fly. They has more power, or has more responsibilities and more you could say power of a sergeant, but they still have to answer as a E4 specialist. Damn. Yeah. It. Yeah. You'll probably if you ever hear from, you'll probably hear something about like the E4 Mafia or some shit. It's like their own gaggle of people. It's cool as shit. I mean, depending on the people in the E4 Mafia at the group she's with, it could be either a really good group or a really crazy ass group. So she's deployed? So she's deployed, she's not in state. Is she deployed? Is what I'm asking. Is she in the U.S.? Is what I'm saying. Is she in the U.S., the United States? If she's not in the United States, she's considered she's considered deployed. Well, she's still in the U.S. She's still in the U.S. then, you know. If she's up there like working, if she's up there on active duty, then she's probably still in the States. The only way it's considered deployment is if you're shipped off like to Germany, just you're stationed there, or you're stationed like somewhere out of the U.S. Which I don't know. It's because Alaska is a part of the U.S., but it's also it's so far away and it's so desolate in areas that that's kind of touchy. I don't want to get into that because I don't want to tell you any lies, because I'm not really. I was never affiliated with Alaska. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to tell you something and say it's true when it's not, you know. Yeah. Like me deployment when I joined at the time would be going overseas to Iraq. That would have been a deployment. That's considered a deployment. But see, the thing about when I got out was I'm denied all my benefits. I have nothing. I'm getting nothing out of the Army anymore. See, if you get 20 years in, you can retire. So if you go in at 18, you can retire at 38 and live off your military career retirement until you pass. And depending on what rank you are, you can bring home anywhere between, what is it? For an E1, I was bringing home 1,000 a week, 1,000 every 2 weeks, making 500 a week as an E1. That's on active duty. If I was on active duty when I got out, which was at E4, I could bring home anywhere between $2.5 to $3 grand every 2 weeks. That's after taxes. That's from the Army to Texas, and then it goes straight to my bank account. That's what I got. When I done my 2 weeks, dude, I was happy. I was like, damn, I got a big ass check coming in. I mean, it's good. You got all the benefits you could ever ask for. They give you any fucking training if you ask for it. Deployed, even though I put in for every fucking option that was open and available to me, it's because I'm the only son under my dad's family name. I'm the only Duke of our family. The last remaining son, you could say. I have no blood brothers. I had 2 blood sisters, but I have no blood brothers. I'm the only boy of my family. I think that's the only reason why I didn't get deployed. Which fucking sucks. But it kind of, I mean, I can understand it to a degree, but I also hate it due to the fact I wasn't able to serve my country. When I had like 7 friends that actually got deployed and 4 of them didn't come home. Yeah, that I have to live with that shit like every day, and it bugs the fuck out of me every single day. They do what? Well, see, in my opinion, that should be my decision, though. Because that's what when I signed my contract, when I signed my name to the contract, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get deployed to have the combat time in order to get my benefits when I came back home. That way I can say I served, I get paid more, and I can retire. But I got denied deployment, and after all that shit went out the window. Now I don't get anything. Yeah, I don't get any benefits. I don't get anything from the Army. No, nothing that I had except I'll tell you about the only thing I think that I still have is my GI Bill. That's the only fucking thing I got. But that was in my contract when I signed it. I can send any of my family members to school, free of charge. They had to be actual related. They had to be blood family, blood related family. Depending on if you retire, I don't think you can really enlist, but you can. If you get out and you want to go back in, you can probably enlist. But what I got out for, I couldn't enlist because it was what I was discharged for at the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of stipulations when it comes to what you can do, what you can't do in the Army. If you have double jointed knees, you can't be part of any type of air deployment team. You can't be in jump school. You can't be a paratrooper, assault trooper, anything like that. Because the reason why, because paratroopers, when they jump and when they hit the ground, they have to have their legs straight. If they don't, it'll snap their ankles or snap their knees, and just as soon as they hit the ground. Because the only reason why my dad wasn't a paratrooper is because his knees are double jointed. I couldn't be one because my knees are double jointed. Which that means is when your knee, when most people stand straight up, their knees, they can wobble their knees. When me and my dad stand up, our knees lock back. Our knees lock backwards. They'll flick back and lock in. And if we were to land like that, it'd snap our legs up to our face. But see, when I enlisted, I signed my contract on the day that the Twin Towers was hit. At the school, when I was in school, and they were watching the TV, or we had the TV in the classroom, the old fucking TV on the wheel cart. They rolled it in and they turned it on, and they watched it. We were watching the news when the Twin Towers were struck by the second plane when they turned it on. And that afternoon, when I left school, I went straight to my recruiter's office and said, ship my ass down to Jacksonville. He said, we can't right now because you're still in school. But he said, no, he said, we can't ship you out to basic because you're still in school, but we will send you down there, go ahead and sign your contract and all, get you set up, get you going. I went down there. I went from Albany, Georgia. I rode a bus to Jacksonville, Florida, flew a plane from Jacksonville to Atlanta, Georgia, and rode a bus from Atlanta, Georgia to Fort Benning, Georgia, and started my training. I flew a plane from there, went to Fort Lee, Virginia, did my training up there, drove back home, or flew home for Christmas, went back up, flew back up, finished my training, rode my folks come up there all the way from Georgia. They drove all the way from Georgia, and picked me up and drove me home. I don't remember anything about coming home. That's what gets me. When we pulled out of the gate, I leaned up against the back seat and nodded off because I'm not one for big car rides. I'd sleep through them. I don't remember stopping. I don't remember doing any of thing. I remember when we pulled out the gate, I eased to sleep, and the next thing I know, I wake up, we're in the front yard. And they told me, said, you know how long you were asleep? I said, no, how long was the ride? That was an 18-hour ride. You slept all fucking 18 hours, didn't move, didn't budge, didn't do nothing. I'm like, damn, I didn't know. You slept the entire ride. We tried to wake you up, see if you want anything to drink or eat. You didn't budge nothing. You were out. Well, damn. They said I didn't move at all until they pulled up in the front yard. That's when I leaned up. Well, you can take an ASVAB anytime. You can go to your nearest high school or school of your choice and ask them, may I have an ASVAB test scheduled to take here because I'm considered to join the Army. Yeah, I'll set one up for you. Because our school they've done one every year for the students that had
aspirations of joining the army or joining the armed forces. Sorry, because one. We didn't have recruiters come into the school, but we asked some of us asked the school if we can have the ASVAB taken, a test taken, that way we can evaluate our skill sets. And they said, yeah, they set it up, everything. We took the test and all. And when we got our diploma, we walked up stage, got our diplomas, or walked up the aisle and got our diplomas and shit. We walked right out of the building after the ceremony was over, met our recruiters, and went straight to our training sites. One of my best friends, or two of my best friends, one of them, he's more like a blood book. Me and him made a blood pact when we were young, but he's an infantryman in Blakely on the police force down there. I got one buddy that was, last time I seen him was in 2011, in 2010, 2011, in Albany, Georgia. He went to the Navy. I got another friend, I can't call him a close friend, but he's a friend. He went to the Air Force, and he's stationed on one of the aircraft carriers now. And my ass went in the Army, and I went to be a mechanic, done all my training, come back, and the only thing I really got to show for it is broken fingers and broken ankles and shit and scars and all, and nothing other than that to show for it. Now I'm just on farm handling from paycheck to paycheck. That's what. Well, see, the thing about the ASVAB, it's not a fail or pass test. It's what you get correct is what they evaluate you on. You can't fail an ASVAB test. Your skill sets can be so bad you can't really do anything, but depending on what you answer correctly, yeah. Depending on what you answer correctly is where they have a tendency to put you. Mine was I was more mechanically inclined minded, so that's where most of my scores came from. So that's where they put most of my MOS. That's where they gave me most of my MOS options from. Yeah, but there's one thing I wish I'd have known before I signed that contract, is that your very first contract in the armed forces, you get to choose how many years you want to serve. You get to choose the you choose your first duty station, and you get a 5-tier wish list, which everybody gets one of those. Well, that's the Army. It's just you asking the Army of these 5 stations if out of this wish list, these are the 5 I wish to get deployed to. But it's where the Army where the Army needs you is where you're gonna go. I got stationed in Fort Benning. I wanted to go anywhere but Georgia. I got stationed in Georgia. I'm like, well, damn. I ain't gonna lie to you. This is the saddest thing about the Army. The Army was the reason the Army taught me what family means. Family taught me the true meaning of Army. The Army taught me the true meaning of what a family is. You won't find that type of camaraderie anywhere else in the fucking world. Only the armed forces has that type of camaraderie, and I miss it. I'd give my left leg, cut it off at the fucking hip just to go back to that life again. And I am not kidding one fucking bit. I'm seriously talking about. I would. I'd give my left leg to go back to my fucking brothers and sisters I've met in the Army now. Every fucking one of them. We started we started basic training. I started basic training with a group of people I didn't even fucking know. I didn't know the name. I didn't know what they like, anything like that. When we left basic training, we were more like a family than what my actual family was. I didn't have to. Here's the thing that it's kind of hard to explain, but the basic principle is they break you down from a citizen and build you into a soldier, physically and mentally. It comes to a point where you and this random person, you can be from the fucking Scatterwatching woods, where you don't see anybody for like months on end, and you'll be paired. You could be like, you'll meet somebody that's from the city that talks to people every single second of every single day, and then you both get in a foxhole. You're back to back. You don't have to worry, think, or even notice what he's doing, because you know he's going to do his job to protect your back, and he ain't got to worry about you because he's going to know you're going to have his back. You give your life over a random stranger that you just met in the army over the person that you call family back home. That's what I mean when I said I'd give my left leg to be back in the army again. I would. It's just, I'm gonna put this the best way possible. It's basically this well, about the only easiest way I can say it, it's a connection, it's a bond you make with somebody that it's a complete random stranger that you probably would never ever fucking met in real life. And you'll be closer with them than you will be your mom and dad. That's the type of bond you make. It's yeah, and unless you experience it personally, you can never truly understand what it is. I mean, it's literally how it goes. Disciplines of a soldier. It seems funny and it sounds weird, but when it comes to it, it's something that you learn that sticks with you. It's something you'll never forget, man. Never. It's really hard. Yeah. Not necessarily a killing machine. The only way you become a killing machine is when you lose the sense, the aspect of discipline and professionalism. Yeah, it's discipline and professionalism. That's when you become a killing machine, because you lose all sense of self. What they do is build you from this kid that wants to just hang out and chill on the weekends to somebody that's, when they're called upon, then they ain't got to worry about them. They will be there. They're on time. They're dressed to what they need to do. They know they know what's going on. They're like, you become a link in a chain that when somebody calls upon you, they don't have to worry about what you're gonna do. They worry about what you'll need to get it done. The chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And that's true for civilian world too. Go ahead. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I would say human life is civilian life. Yeah, it's kind of hard depending on what you go through. Deployment it breaks more people than you think. Only when I joined, the statistic was 0.01% of the U.S. population joined the armed forces, and of that statistic, only 0.1% of those joined the army. That's an extremely small portion to the bigger piece of the pie. That's like a breadcrumb on the table compared to the entire dish still not even cut yet. Exactly. That's fun, man. Well, people don't understand. People will never understand the true meaning of what they have until it's gone, and it's true until they lose it. People can say, oh, what I had. I learned that shit the fucking hard way, and I'm still dealing with it to this day. And this shit happened to me fucking 7, 8 years ago. About 2013. No, 2013. 2014. 2013, 2014. Well, but it holds true. I lost my mama on a car wreck. Within 10 minutes of her calling me saying she's bringing me lunch. I didn't even get to say goodbye. I didn't even know. I can't remember if I said I love her on the phone when she hung up. See, I wasn't.